You've heard me use the expression Mamaluke. For those of you that don't know where that comes from, it's an Italian expression when somebody's like a goofball, Mamaluke. Instead of calling him goofy, we call him a Mamaluke.
Like a bum, like a Mamaluke.
A what?
Like the Mamaluke of the year.
It's so funny, that expression is so funny. And I've called people Mamalukes throughout the years. And so what I have arranged now, I've got 20 people that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to tell you my top 3 Mamalukes of the year. But so I want you to think about this, okay? Mamalukes. We're going to give the Mamalukes of the year. And there's so many to choose from. There's no shortage. But before that, let me remind you again, people. Look at this bottle. I am so proud of this. This is the case that it comes in. And a picture of me with a big 50 in gold. And it's remade. I keep stressing this. I don't want any comments. Michael, you're glorifying the fact that you were made. No, I'm not. I'm glorifying the fact that I'm alive and free 50 years later when everybody I ran with is either dead or in prison for the rest of their life. And why did that happen? Because I've been remade. Not the fact that I was made 50 years ago, but that I've been remade. And that's what we're celebrating. And on the bottom, it says this: your circumstances in life don't define you, your decisions do. How to turn adversity into an advantage. So here's what you get, okay? You get this beautiful case. You get this terrific bottle of wine, all right? And the Irene is great. I challenge. Let me tell you something. We brought this into Wolfgang Puck, and he looked at it, and he said, you know what? He tasted it. He said, I love it. He thought that this was going to be a very expensive bottle of wine. When I gave him the price, he couldn't believe it, and he made it in his Beverly Hills store one of his table wines. This is the wine. You buy it by a glass. It's priced right because I don't overprice or outprice any of my people. I want everybody to be able to be involved with me in some way, shape, or form. You're going to love the taste. The world's oldest vineyards from Armenia. Armenian wine is becoming very popular as a result of what we're doing. We're the flagship. We're leading the way. We're opening the door. People are loving it. So on the cap, there's going to be a QR code, and you're going to hit the QR code, and it's going to give you my 50 life lessons. Okay, that's free to everybody. 50 life lessons. And for those of you, you can buy either 1 bottle, 3 bottles, or 6 bottles. And people, my membership platform, I got to tell you, I'm so proud of the people in there. They're loving the platform. They're sharing it. It's growing. I really encourage you. I'm telling you, when you see what it costs to be in that membership platform, just so that we can survive and put all the life lessons and put all the courses and everything in there, you're not going to believe it. Because most of these membership platforms, forget about it. You got to go take out a loan to be part of it. Not with me. I don't do that to anybody. All right? I don't. And I refuse to do that. I'm okay. God has blessed me in my life in so many different ways. I want to make my stuff available to everybody. Mamaluke of the year. You're going to agree, you're going to disagree, but we're going to have some fun with this. Let me name them, and then I'm going to give you what my picks are, and then put in your comment section what your picks are. All right, this is going to be fun. All right, number 1, Rachel Zegler. You know who she is? She starred in Snow White, and she went out there and she continued to fuel backlash from her Snow White press tour by criticizing traditional interpretations of the franchise. You remember what she said? She went and played Snow White and then knocked Snow White, and alienating her core audience. Critics said her comments made a PR problem worse. So how do you be starring something and then go knock everything that you starred for? I mean, Snow White is like, come on, it's beloved. Snow White was beloved from Disney. Walt Disney turning around in his grave when he heard this Mamaluke talk the way she talked. All right, let's move on. Oh my God. Every time I just got a vision of her and it drives me crazy. Whoopi Goldberg. On The View in June 2025, she compared life for Black Americans in the U.S. to life under Iran's authoritarian regime, prompting widespread online outrage and calls for her firing. Even the blacks were upset with her. How the heck do you call America, blacks living in America, the same as those people under the Iran regime? The woman is crazy. And here's what she said. Not if you're black, quote, in response to a co-host distinguishing conditions in Iran versus the U.S. when discussing human rights and structural oppression, per her co-host Elisa Farah Griffin's remarks about life under Iran's morality laws. Come on. Blacks in America, we're not saying that they weren't oppressed at one time. We're not saying that they got troubles. We're not saying that racism doesn't exist. But you compare it to life in Iran, Mamaluke, Whoopi Goldberg. As a matter of fact, the whole view of Mamalukes. Okay. The remarks sparked social media blowback, with users calling the comparison insulting and historically inaccurate given Iran's strict dress codes and executions. And I can go on, but she's a total Mamaluke. All right, Kathy Griffin, in 2025, doubled down on provocative political commentary while promoting her tour and online content. Here's what she did. She publicly claimed she might be targeted under a potential Trump administration, saying, "Come see me before I'm in one of those internment camps." I mean, do you think you're that important, Kathy Griffin, that Trump is going to come after you? Verbally, because Trump goes after people verbally all the time. But he's going to put you in an internment camp? Who do you think you are? You're nothing but a Mamaluke, Kathy Griffin. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Dylan Mulvaney. He remained a culture war focus by continuing to enrage publicly with fallout from previous brand controversies tied to Bud Light and other media appearances. You remember Dylan Mulvaney? There was a big backlash because Budweiser used that. And she whatever, just continued, making it worse. Continued. Mamaluke, without a doubt. Given an opportunity, totally blew it. Sean Diddy Combs. What can I say about Diddy Combs? I don't have to read anything about him. Mamaluke is being polite to him. Being polite. I don't even know if he's in the Mamaluke category, but is a polite word to put on him. Let's put it that way. Mamdami, Mayor Mamdami. I'm going to get some criticism on that, but I don't care. He continued to use fiery activist rhetoric throughout 2025 that critics said veered toward extremist-leaning messaging, reducing broader public sympathy. Is Mamdami a Mamaluke? I think there's other words we can use to describe him, but, Mamaluke, again, might be being very polite. People saying, give him a chance. He's a socialist. Why would I give him a chance? I don't agree with his policies. I don't agree with his ideology. Give him a chance. This is not a socialist country. So no, he don't have a chance with me. He is a Mamaluke. Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, one entry. The NBA fallout in 2025. You remember the whole big gambling scandal with both of these people, Rozier and Chauncey Billups. What did they need it for? Because they're gamblers and they can't help themselves at times. Yes, they're Mamalukes. I want to be kind to them. They're Mamalukes. Believe me, it very much applies to them. Jimmy Kimmel, total Mamaluke. In 2025, he sparked backlash over monologues perceived as tone deaf or overly political, briefly retreated from public view, returned without addressing criticism, reinforcing negative optics. He's a Mamaluke. Come on. I mean, he's not even funny anymore. And all these late night comedians that, all of a sudden they became political hacks. That's all they are. They're there to make people funny. What happened to Johnny Carson? Those were the days. That was real late night TV. Now all they do is criticize who they like, and obviously Trump is the main target. Total Mamaluke. Ilhan Omar. Oh my gosh. You know who she is, the congresswoman from Minnesota, embroiled in a whole big fraud matter right now with Minnesota, along with that other crazy guy. I'm going to get to him. But she drew criticism in 2025 for high-profile votes against defense spending and foreign policy positions. You know what? That's the least of her problems right now. The whole thing with the Somalis. Again, Mamaluke would be very kind to her at this point. I think more like, fraud, embezzler, phony, hypocrite. So if we call her a Mamaluke, we're being kind to you, Elon. Let's move on. Governor Tim Walz, you know what? Again, he's the governor. It's his state. He's responsible. You see what's going on with all this billions of dollars of fraud, taxpayer money fraud, okay? Tim Walz, he's the governor. He's defending himself. He's going to lose that battle. If the Department of Justice that we have now ever gets off their rear end and starts holding these people accountable rather than just talking about it, Congress too. Oh, this is terrible. Nobody's getting indicted. Nobody's being held accountable. All they do is talk. If they get off their rear end like they would if it was you or me or an American citizen, we'll start to see some of these people being held accountable. But Tim Walz, just the way he carries himself, he is a Mamaluke. He may be a fraud. He may be a thief. He may be a jerk. All of that. But he's definitely a Mamaluke, just the way he carries himself. So he's there. Okay, keep going. Nick Fuentes. Nick, to me, he's so controversial. I call him a Mamaluke just for the things that he said. If you don't know who he is, just go on social media. Can't miss him. He's everywhere right now. He's the guy that denies the Holocaust, although he's coming around now, realizing that was stupid. A lot of things going on with him. I'll call him a Mamaluke. He's just very opinionated. He's not hurting anybody. He's very opinionated. So, Mamaluke. Gavin Newsom, biggest Mamaluke there is. He's a goofball. He's a Mamaluke, but he's worse than that. What he's done to this state that I live in is horrendous. And all we need to do is hope and pray he never becomes president. Never. Because he will destroy America like he's destroyed California. And it's coming back to haunt him. He cannot get himself. He dug too big of a hole here. Gavin Newsom. Tyler Robinson. You know what? I don't think I can call him a Mamaluke. Right now, is he a murderer? We're going to find out. The investigation's still going on. He's under indictment. He's in prison. It's just horrible. I don't know if I want to include him in this at all. Let's just leave it alone, because if he is guilty of this, he's a lot worse than a Mamaluke. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. In 2025, she faced scrutiny for luxury travel optics, high-profile appearances that critics said undercut her working-class narrative, especially and broader economical concerns. You know what? She is a Mamaluke. She really is. She's another one that's enriching herself by becoming a member of Congress, goes in there. She was a waitress or a bartender before that. Now she's becoming wealthy. You know what? She's a Mamaluke. Let's hope she's nothing worse than a Mamaluke. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I call her a Mamaluke. It's going to be tough picking the best one. Letitia James, she turned high-profile prosecutions into perceived political theater in 2025, prompting accusations from both sides of the aisle of selective enforcement for political purposes. Well, she ran saying that she was going to go after Donald Trump. That's how she became the district attorney. She ran on that. Is she a Mamaluke? Yeah. She was going to be indicted for fraud or something. I don't know if the case was dismissed or whatever. She's a Mamaluke. Maybe worse than that, but definitely a Mamaluke. Jasmine Crockett. Oh, my God. Definitely a Mamaluke. You know why? This is what she said. She said it at a hearing, a public hearing, that the police are not there to protect you. The police are not there to stop crime before it happens. They're not there for that. That's not their job. They're not supposed to stop crime. They're only supposed to investigate it afterwards. That's the biggest Mamaluke statement I ever heard. And she's a person in Congress. Of course the police are there to stop crime before it starts. What are they in blue for? What do they walk the beat for? What are they on horseback for? What are they driving in their cars for? To prevent the crime, so that you see them and the crime doesn't happen. You want to make the crime happen and then go investigate it? Mamaluke. What a mom. And that's only one of many things that she said. And by the way, mean to her staff, drives around on private planes, making herself wealthy on taxpayer money. Put her in office again. Now she wants to run for the Senate. Mamaluke. Kamala Harris. What could I say that hasn't been said already? With her book tour, she's a total Mamaluke. And if she runs for anything again, she's going to be Mamaluke plus. That's all I can say. The woman lost because she's incompetent. She's incompetent to be in office. She proved it everywhere she went. Let's move on. Stephen Colbert. I don't like this guy. He became a focal point in late-night culture wars in 2025 as the Late Show's ratings softened and critics argued he leaned harder into partisan commentary. Of course, on airlines like "Go F yourself" in political exchanges were cited as exemplifying his shift from satire to antagonism. Yes, he became a political hack. He's not funny. He just wants to get into politics because he doesn't have any jokes. He's just not funny. He's the total Mamaluke. Total. Jennifer Welsh. Okay, this woman. She went after Erica Kirk. Crazy went after Erica Kirk. For those of you that don't know her, you're blessed not to know her. She's a horrible human being. At least her presence is horrible. I don't know what she is in her personal life, but her presence, the way she puts herself out there, horrible. In 2025, she maintained a brand of relentless outrage, combative commentary that critics said cemented her as an ideological fire starter rather than a constructive voice. She just goes after people in a mean way. She went after Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk and, bad. Mamaluke, total Mamaluke. Hope you turn her off. And this, need I say anything more? Candace Owens. She's being outed. She's being found out. Her people are turning on her. You know, she is a total Mamaluke. I have to say it just because she is just, look, she rose to the top of the social media platforms by going after people and spreading information that she can't back up. She's a total Mamaluke. I hope she's only a Mamaluke. That's all I hope, because she's caused a lot of damage to people. She's pointing at everybody for being complicit in Charlie Kirk's murder. She went after the Macrons. She got fired from everywhere she went. I mean, the woman is just, she's not a nice person the way she's presenting herself. I don't know her in her personal life. Other people do and have not spoken well about her. But I don't know what's wrong with her. I really don't. But she goes after everybody. I don't think she's coming from a good place. That's my perception. That's how I perceive her. Boom. Is she a Mamaluke? Yeah. Let me give you my top 3 out of this. And I want to hear what your votes are. Vote. Okay? Some people I'm taking out of the Mamaluke category because I think they're more than that. But I have to put at the top of the list, this guy is such a goofball. My top 3, Tim Walz. He's a goofball. He may not be a fraud. He may be incompetent. He may be, dumb. He may be a goofball. He may be a lot of bad things. And we're going to find out if he capitalized on any of this huge fraud that they're uncovering, fraud of taxpayer money, abuse of young kids, and that's what it's coming out to be, because the money was supposed to go to them and it didn't. It went in people's pockets. If he was aware of this, and if he enriched himself as a result, he's much worse than a Mamaluke. But let's just say, just by the way he presents himself, he's a total Mamaluke. I look at him, he's a joke. This guy ever became vice president, we would be the laughingstock of the world. Joke. Tim Walz, top Mamaluke. Number 2, in my view, Kamala Harris. Come on, Mamaluke. The woman is not competent enough to be in public office, not in the offices that she seeks, not in the presidency, not in the vice presidency, not in the governorship, not in the Senate, and not in Congress. If there is a lesser platform because she does have some experience, okay. But those 5 offices that I just named, she is not competent enough. That's the bottom line. She makes more mistakes and gaffes. It's goofy. Even in her book, she's got her own people turning against her. She's a total Mamaluke. Her and Tim Walz, top of the chain, top of the food chain. Number 3, Gavin Newsom, total Mamaluke. He has destroyed California, and you're going to hear a lot more about this if he decides to run in 2026 for president. Everything that he's done is going to come out. I'm going to highlight it, and so is everybody else. This guy is a hypocrite from the first order. Total hypocrite. First order. But he's goofy the way he presents himself, so he can be a Mamaluke. He might be a lot worse. He might be a thief. He might be a fraud. He might be a hypocrite. He might have been a destroyer. He's destroyed Pacific Palisades, $100 million they can't find that was donated there, for the relief. He's done a lot of things. $15 or $16 billion to build a railway that not even 1 foot of track has been laid. Where's the money? He's going to have to explain this because I'm not getting off of it, and neither are a lot of people. Let him run for president and let everybody see what he's done for this beautiful state that I reside in. 3 top Mamalukes: Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, and Gavin Newsom. And I do have to give an honorable mention to both Rachel Zegler. She screwed it up. She gets a starring role in Snow White and then screws it up with her mouth. Dumb. And now she's like a pariah. And she's a good actress. Keep your mouth shut. Amazing singer. Great. Her talent is there. But use your talent. Use your mouth for your talent. And stay out of everything else because you don't know what you're talking about. So she gets honorable mention. Whoopi Goldberg. I don't like that woman at all. She's a racist. That's all she talks about. She's just anti-Trump. She's got TDS. She don't know what she's talking about. She's lucky she's got a job on The View. That's it. Honorable mention. All right, I can go on and on, but I think that's enough. All right, so let me see your comments. I want to see what you have to say. I'm excited to read them.